Hello everybody, this is a quick tutorial on how I achieve my leather effects on belts, scabbards, shoes, that sort of thing. It's really easy, it's really quick. You're going to need 3 different types of paint and that's it. Right, first off, everything you want leather looking, you're going to base coat with Vallejo Medium Flesh. Right, everything that you want leather, I always base coat it with that. You can use any kind of yellowy brown, but hey, that's what I've been using and it works really well. So yeah, you want to base coat everything in that colour. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, as you can see, I've gone over it pretty rough. I've not been perfect at all. It won't look like that when it's finished. But yeah, just make sure that when you base coat, all of the area has got a proper base coat on it. There's no bits of grey showing through, and it's an even coat. Yeah, you've got to make sure that it's basically covered properly for a base coat, and you've got to make sure that it's 100% dry before you move on to the next phase. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and show you what the next step is. I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, I'm back again. Right, the next step is going to be to cover the whole thing in sepia shade ink. Yeah, game wash sepia shade. Yeah, I'm going to give it a first coat in that, and then we'll see how that looks, and I'll be back in a second. Bear with me. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I've washed everything with the sepia shade ink, and this is the first hit. As you can see, I've not been really careful because I've just flooded it, and that's what you got to do for your first wash. Make sure that it's covered, all of them yellow areas. Yeah, as you can see, it's all been covered once. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back in a bit and I'll show you what it looks like after the first shade. Speak to you soon. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, first layer of ink on there, and it's pretty much dry. Okay, notice how it sort of pulls in the right places. Yeah, it's giving you first sort of impression of where it wants extra hits to be, which I'll explain in a minute. I'm gonna put another layer of ink on over the top, show you what it looks like then, and then we'll let that dry, and yeah, I shall see you in a minute. Okay guys, welcome back. Now as you can see, I've hit it again. This is the second wash. Hit all of the areas again, all round it. In fact, there's a couple of areas that could need another hit again afterwards, but you can see it's starting to sink into the crevices and the places where it needs to be. It's slowly darkening, and that's kind of what you want from your washes, your successive washes. I'll let this dry, and then I'll show you the next step. See you in a minute. Okay guys, welcome back. Right, this is how it looks after its second wash. Ink's pretty much dry on it. As you can see, it's starting to take shape of how you want it. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start hitting the shaded areas. Not so much flood as I did with the first 2 washes. This is more like a glaze, and sort of hitting areas where you want more shade, but also laying off areas where you don't want it to be too dark. What I'll do is I'll do the first hit, and then I'll show you where I've done it, and it'll give you a rough idea of how I start to get sort of the definition of the shadows. So I shall be back in a moment. Okay guys, welcome back. Right, I don't know if you can see, I mean it's taken me about 2 minutes to do that. I've just gone round in some of the more shaded areas, and I've kind of hit it again with some more ink, just to sort of emphasize those shadows a bit. Sort of like, as you can see there, the lower half of the scabbard, hit that again. Yeah, I mean basically anything that's on the top I'll leave light, anything that's underneath I'll put in as more shaded, and I'll do that by just applying more sort of ink to them areas. Yeah, so that's pretty much as dark, sort of leathery as I want it to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm just going to I'm going to line that. But what I'll do is I'll let it dry, like I say, and then I'll come back and I'll show you sort of the next step lining wise. Okay, so bear with me a moment. See you soon. Yeah guys, welcome back. Right, for the next stage I'm going to be using Vallejo Smoke, if I can get it in focus there. Right, now I use this stuff for pretty much all of the lining that I do, and I line pretty much everything. Say for instance there's a sort of border between things like armour and the leather. What I'll do is I'll go around the whole thing with the smoke, and that'll put my line in. Yeah, I sort of pre-line stuff as I go basically. So I'll put the line in, and then I'll base coat as close as possible right up to it. But anyway, I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'm just going to put the lining around the leather. So take a good look at it as it is now. And yeah, that's come out okay. Quite pleased with that. You know, I told you it was easy, guys. Told you it was really easy. Yeah, and now all I'm going to do is I'm going to line it with the Vallejo Smoke, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like once I've done that. See you in a minute. Okay guys, welcome back. Okay, as you can see, I've lined pretty much everything, all the way around all the belt. Yeah, anything that's super dark, any of the shades, lined it all. And no, I've not gone neat at all, because it doesn't matter, it's just pre-lining. And what you do is you put the lines in, and then you base coat up as close to the line as you can. Yeah, so as you can see, I've gone over the belt. I've lined sort of in between there. Yeah, the leather effects come out okay. As you can see, the arms, yeah, I've put them in with the smoke as well. Anything that's going to give you a shadow or a shade, I've put that in as Vallejo Smoke. Underneath skirt and stuff, tunic, underneath there, anywhere where there's a border, I've lined it with the Vallejo Smoke. Okay. So that, guys, is pretty much how I do my leather. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing difficult about it. Oh, I tell you what, I haven't done the shoes. That's okay. I mean, basically, you just line around the laces and make the dark areas sort of in between the laces. Put some smoke in there. Anywhere where it's really dark, I'll just line it. The purse sort of thing, I've kind of lined that as well. Don't know if you can see that, but yeah, should give you a rough idea of how I do the leather. It will work on pretty much everything, guys. You know, it's not hard. You just have to be a bit patient. So for instance, the scabbard, you know, where things are going to be bronze or silver, I'll just paint them with smoke first off, and then I'll base coat right up to that line. you know, and be really careful and sort of get in there, and the lines are already in then. You know, anything that's going to need lining properly, like for instance the belt buckles, stuff like that. There you go, Vallejo smoke, the whole thing, and that's lined, and then all you got to do is base coat and paint on the top of that right up to the lines, and it just makes it go pop and it makes it stand out. Well, that's what I think anyway. I hope this has been useful to you. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out one of my earlier videos on how I did chainmail, that's going to be the next step. That would be me base coating with the silver and basically cutting right in up to the lines on all of that scale mail there. I'll paint all of that silver right up into the lines, and then I'll wash it. But yeah, you can check out my earlier video for doing that. If you've got any questions, yeah, just bung it down in the comments. These are of course Victrix figures, and this sort of technique works really well for them, but it'll work on pretty much every figure. But I like using Victrix stuff. They make some really nice figures, and I should probably get this done soon, this figure, and I'll give you a spin round in a later video on how I've got on with it. But yeah, as I say, I hope you find this video useful, and if you've, like say, got any questions, comments, whatever, give me a shout and I'll try and answer them for you. But anyway, take care, speak to you soon, bye bye.